Hello guys, so we are Division O Group 1 from VIT. Myself Pranav Patil, we are here to present you generations of computers. So these are my friends which will help us to explain you generation of computers. So let's start. We all have fond of computers. Computers has made many difficult works like calculation very easy nowadays. Any company can't run without help of computers. But while using these computers, we must be aware of how the computers were actually made, how the evolution in computers actually happened. So blah blah blah. So here we start. So small history of computers. Since the evolution of human device have been used for calculations for thousands of years, one of the earliest and most well-known devices was an abacus. Then in 1822, the father of computers, Charles Babbage, began developing what would be the first mechanical computer, and then in 1833 he actually designed an analytical engine which was a general purpose computer. It contained nearly some basic flowchart principles and concept of integrated memory. So next, generation of computers were actually differentiated on the basis of characteristic component used in computer. Like in first generation is known as vacuum tube generation, because vacuum tube was the main highlight used in computer, and later the same part were replaced by other parts which gave more and more strength to computer to run fast and do the calculations more easily. There were total 5 generations of computers, and as you know, vacuum tube was the first one, and its period was 1946 to 1959. So these are actually components and periods of generation. So let's see, second generation 1959 to 1965, and transistors was the main technology used in it. Third generation 1965 to 1971, and integrated circuits were the main technology in it. Fourth generation was 1971 to 1980, and microprocessors was the technology used in that generation. And fifth generation is 1980 and till present it is. So AI and ULSI was main technology used in it. So let's see, next further will be explained by my friends.
Talking about the first generation of computers, vacuum tubes, which were the basis of flip-flop circuits fundamentally used in binary digital computers, were used. The first vacuum tube computer, that is the first generation computer, was demonstrated in 1939. These computers played a major role in World War II. Now let's talk about the main characteristics of first generation of computers. The main electronic component being vacuum tubes. The main memory were magnetic drums and magnetic tapes. Machine language was used for the programming, and the input-output devices were punch cards and paper tapes. It consumed a lot of electricity and generated a lot of heat. It was slow and very large in size. Moving on to the drawbacks and disadvantages of the first generation computers. The main disadvantage here being its size, and they were huge, they required a lot of electricity, and they produced a lot of heat. And the other drawbacks being they were very slow, they were costly, and they only used low level language.
Now let's talk about the second generation of computer. The second generation computers were used during 1957 to 1963. They are also known as transistor computers. The second generation computers consist of two types of devices, transistors and magnetic core. The transistor helped to develop a better computer than the first generation computer consisting of vacuum tubes. Some second generation computers are IBM 1920, IBM 1794, CDC 1604, CDC 3600, IBM 1401. Here are the some characteristics of the second generation computer. Smaller in size. The second generation computer are much smaller in size than the first generation computer. Change in circuit. The main change is the use of transistors in place of vacuum tubes. As we have seen, vacuum tubes are usually in the first generation of computer. Power energy requirement. The second generation of computers requires less amount of energy than the first generation computer and produces less heat than the first generation computer. Language used. Assembly language is used instead of machine language for programming in computers. Speed. Calculation of data could be done in microseconds. Cost. The cost of second generation computer is reduced in comparison to first generation computer.
Third generation of computers. The period of third generation was from 1965 to 1971. The computers of third generation used integrated circuits in place of transistors, resistors, and capacitors along with associated circuitry. First functional integrated circuit was shown by Jack Kibble in 1959. This development made computers far more reliable and efficient. In this generation, remote processing, time sharing, and OS were used. Let's see its advantages. So, IC was used instead of transistors in third generation of computers. Third generation of computers were smaller in size and cheaper as compared to second generation of computers. They were fast and more reliable. High level language was developed. Magnetic core and solid state were used as the main storage, and because of that they were able to reduce the computational time and had low maintenance cost. Input and output devices became more sophisticated. Now it has some disadvantages. Let's see it. Air conditioning required in many cases. Highly sophisticated technology required. Manufacture of IC chips. ICs were difficult to repair and the computers were costly.
Let's start with the fourth generation of computers. A microprocessor chip or VLSI made up of hundreds of ICs were used in this generation. Intel was the first company to develop a microprocessor. Being compact, they require small amount of electricity to run. Now the characteristics of fourth generation of computer are being cheapest and handheld, microprocessors became popular and affordable. Also, outputs were more reliable and accurate. Processing power increased enormously, as well as large program came into use with increase in storage capacity. Now, the drawbacks of fourth generation of computers are very advanced technology was required to fabricate the ICs. High quality and reliable system or technology can only make ICs. Cooler and fan was required. And thus we conclude it.
Now let's talk about the fifth generation of computer. The technology behind the fifth generation of computer is artificial intelligence. It allows computer to behave like a human. It is often seen in a program like voice recognition, area of medicine, and entertainment. Within the field of game playings, also it is shown remarkable performance where computers are capable of beating human computers. The speed of artificial intelligence based computers are higher and the size are smaller than the other generation of the computer. Though not 100% AI has been achieved to date, but keeping in sight the present developments. Now, the main characteristics of the fifth generation of computers. Main electronic components. Based on artificial intelligence, uses the ultra large scale integration technology and parallel processing method. Languages. Human languages are used in artificial intelligence based computers. Size. The size of artificial intelligence based computers are small as compared to the other generation of the computers. Input output devices. Trackpad, touchpad, touchscreen, pen, speech input, light scanner, printer, keyboard, monitor, mouse, etc. are the input output devices of the artificial intelligence based computers. Example of the fifth generation of computers are tablets, mobile phones, PC, and the ChatGPT is a very famous example of the AI. Advantages and disadvantages of artificial intelligence. Advantages. These computers are much faster than other generation of the computers. It is easier to repair these computers. These computers are much smaller in size than other generation of computers. They are portable and easy to handle. Advancement in parallel processing and superconductor technology. Disadvantages. They contain complex tools. They give more power to companies to watch what you are doing and even allow them to infect your computer. AI can take over human in the future. It is a dark truth. So thank you everyone for watching our video. Do like, share and subscribe our channel.